to serve right, and I be killing tracks to the earth like my birthright. I'm solid like sound money, and you fools sound.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your host, MagMongoSlade. We got to talk about SmackDown. So we're going to talk about the whole show. SmackDown from August the 13th, 2021. We start the show with John Cena and Roman Reigns. Cena, of course, starts out with his corny jokes, such as, giving Roman a report card, giving him a D for being a douchebag. It said that it's been 10 years of WWE selling Roman Reigns, and the only person buying is Roman Reigns, and that he came back to embarrass Roman Reigns on the biggest stage of SummerSlam, and that he doesn't need to prove himself to Roman Reigns. He just needs to pin Roman Reigns for a 3 count. 1, 2, 3. That's all he's got to do. And that Roman's been protected. He was protected by the Shield, but he's not going to be able to get protected anymore. All I have to do is hang in there and get a 3 count. I can survive you. I can beat you. All I got to do is hang in there. Of course, there was a lot of small references from Cena. He says that, he almost ruined Seth Rollins, and he ran Dean Ambrose from WWE, to which got some pretty good groans from the audience, like, oof, oof. Which is, it would have been perfect for Roman to counterattack by saying that Dean Ambrose couldn't cut it or something like that, which I think would have been a nice little nod. But you also have John Cena basically alluding to CM Punk by saying that he may take the title and blow a little kiss and escape from Las Vegas through the crowd. So, I'm really questioning why he would use that imagery of CM Punk Money in the Bank 2011. Because I'm guessing it fits the story that he's telling, but I'm not quite sure how. Like, I'm sitting here trying to put it together. And it seems to me that, Cena, at some point in this promo, like I said before, he kept saying that I don't have to prove myself. I just have to pin you 1, 2, 3. And to me, it seems like that's really all he cares about, is getting out of there with the title and becoming winning title number 17 and turning Roman Reigns into a trivia question, trivia answer. Who did John Cena beat for his 17th world title? But that doesn't seem to bring any real heat. Like, I know a lot of people like this segment, but for me, it was kind of like, I want it to be more personal than this, or at least make it feel like a bigger deal. It kind of feels kind of petty to me. It doesn't feel up to the level of the two guys involved. I'm not saying like, it needs to be a blood feud, even though, that would be great. I'm actually enjoying the fact that they're not fighting a lot. They're saving it for, well, they're not fighting on TV a lot. They're fighting in house shows. They're saving it for the big show. But I think sometimes the promo material isn't really all that good. It's not strong enough. It's like, okay, we got this match, and now we have to find a reason for the match to happen. And it's kind of like, well, okay, well, Cena I don't have anything to prove. Instead of him saying, I still do have something to prove, and saying this is, or maybe even diving back into this is my legacy kind of thing. I know people got so tired of that when he started doing that. But, this is a completely different program now. He probably could have got away with that. But just saying, like, I don't have to, I'm going to embarrass you. I just have to pin you 1, 2, 3. It's kind of like, I don't know. But Roman, on the other hand, Roman's part of this was okay. He challenged John Cena to come up with some fresh material. Cena, of course, failed to do so. And then he says that, he's not going to bury his opponent. He's not like John Cena. He says how much there needs to be more respect put on John Cena's name. That he's the best. That he's occupies all 4 spots on WWE's Mount Rushmore. And, hey, we don't have enough time to promote all your movies. He says that you're good. You're good enough to win the WWE title, but not good enough to win the Universal title. And then said that his missionary position wasn't good enough to keep Nikki Bella. Well, that was good. That was a nice little dig. I do like that Roman he takes John Cena seriously, but at the same time, he's still very confident. by saying how he's going to decimate John Cena. He's going to smash him. He's going to annihilate John Cena. And Cena's just kind of like, sure, that may happen, but I don't have to, you know, prove anything. You know, physically, maybe you'll have the advantage, but all I got to do is get a 1, 2, 3. And I was just kind of like, okay, we only got a week left, you know, we only got a week left. They did a decent job of explaining why Finn Balor wasn't there, to mean that they did not explain why Finn Balor wasn't there, but it made sense why he wasn't there, because he got his ass beat by Roman and the Usos. So of course he wasn't there. He's out selling it, selling the beatdown. All right, fine. We do need to have Finn Balor face to face with John Cena eventually, and maybe we'll have Finn Balor interfere in the title match and cost John Cena the match. You know, I'm just gonna plant that seed right here. I'm sure that Roman beating Cena clean is fine and dandy, but this seems like they didn't have him beat Edge clean. So I don't see how he beat Cena clean. So I'm going to go with Finn Balor being the reason John Cena lost. All right, so match number 1. Shinsuke Nakamura wins the Intercontinental Championship from Apollo Crews. This was fun. This was a fun match. I enjoyed it. I have not been a fan of Apollo Crews' booking since WrestleMania. Since the introduction of a Commander Aziz, it went off the rails. It absolutely went off the rails. His promo time basically stopped. He has not been getting featured as much. He didn't even get an entrance here. This was absolutely an abomination. His Intercontinental title run was an absolute flop, and it wasn't his own fault. They just stopped booking him. He went off TV for weeks on end. They stopped doing anything with him. He only feuded with one person and then lost the title. Like, that is trash. You know, he was champion for 4 months. He was champion since WrestleMania. He feuded with one person. Probably defended the title against, what, 2 other people? I think he defended against Sami Zayn, too. And that's it. Like, I can't imagine having a 4-month title reign and he really didn't get to beat anybody. And his profile actually went down afterwards. He had a lot more TV time before he was the Intercontinental Champion than he was afterwards. So, whatever. Shinsuke Nakamura winning the Intercontinental Championship is perfectly fine. It's a good position for him. Now, they're now calling him King Nakamura. They're not even calling him Shinsuke Nakamura anymore. I don't know what's up with that. Speaking of which, let's talk about the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring, which both will be returning in October, according to internet reports. So it might not be true. So what this means is from what I was told, that the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring, both tournaments will actually will begin on Raw and SmackDown, and will culminate in Saudi Arabia. So I'm cool with that. You know, if they're going to go to Saudi Arabia and they need to have a hook for that show, King of the Ring is a good thing. King and Queen of the Ring, great. Okay. The King of the Ring version of Saudi Arabia, it should have been the idea. They should have did that first. You know, instead of doing that stupid-ass Royal Rumble match, they should have did a King of the Ring. You know, that should be the yearly thing, is they do the King of the Rings in Saudi Arabia. Personally, they should probably do the whole tournament in Saudi Arabia. And probably not the whole women's tournament, but I'm okay with that. So that makes me question, how long is King Nakamura going to be King Nakamura before he actually has to give up the crown to someone else? But right now, Nakamura is on cloud 9. He's the Intercontinental Champion. He's the king of the WWE, the one true king. He's probably still owed a title shot from January. So, but I think that this thing with Apollo Crews is probably going to continue, and we'll see where it goes. But I have been absolutely deflated with the Apollo Crews title run. It's been an abortion of booking. It's really bad, real bad. So the Street Profits are back. You know, they said the last time they was in the ring with Otis, Montez couldn't last for 2 months. But he said, as soon as I get on these toes, we back to throwing bows. So the Street Profits versus the Alpha Academy. Chad Gable gets pinned. Montez Ford damn near kills himself, leaping over the top rope with reckless abandon. And that's what you do when it comes to athleticism. You know, you do a couple of big spots per night. You don't just do 100 high spots in a match. Montez Ford has the athleticism to pull off everything that you see on Dynamite, but he doesn't do it. You know, it's very restrained. Therefore, you really do pop when he actually breaks out something. You're like, whoa, it's not expected, you know, and it's excellent. The Street Profits are a really, really good team. I love them. But the money is in Montez Ford as a solo act. It really is. Now, Montez Ford is not a big dude. He's kind of tall. He's tall and lanky. But the money is in him being as a single star. I would actually move towards that after, you know, a bit of a feud with the Usos. You don't have to break up the Street Profits either to do it. You can just have Montez Ford, you know, move into the Intercontinental Championship division. You know, and I think him as a solo star is where the money at. I think he could be, I don't know how old he is. I think he might be 30 on the nose. But he's young enough that he could be a top guy if they actually start pushing him as a star, you know, because they already give the Street Profits a lot of TV time and a lot of commercials and stuff. He has a lot of exposure. You know, they just have to actually pull the trigger and actually start moving them towards that. So we get Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was in the production truck, berating this production team. He had put together this video package we'll get into in a second. So Rollins went to the ring, says that Edge isn't present, but he wanted to punch Edge for spreading misinformation and for saying that he's Edge light. But then saying that he and Edge do have a lot of career things in common. But he did everything Edge did, and he did it better. So then he says how, you know, Edge started out with a team, which was the Brood. And I forgot about that. You know, no, he didn't really, because he really didn't start with the Brood. He actually was there before the Brood showed up. But, you know, he said how Edge started with the Brood. He started with the Shield. And he led the Shield, by the way. You know, Edge was not the leader of the Brood. He was a sidekick. But Seth Rollins was the leader, the architect of the Shield. The Edge started the Money in the Bank cash-ins, you know, with the first Money in the Bank cash-in and how it set the standard of Money in the Bank cash-ins. And then Seth Rollins came in and did it better by cashing in the main event of WrestleMania, the heist of the century. Then the Royal Rumble victories. Edge has won the Royal Rumble twice. And Edge did not win the title. While he did win the Royal Rumble only once. But he defeated the Beast, Brock Lesnar, to win the title. And I was like, okay. Now, I know Edge won the Royal Rumble 2010. I think he wrestled Chris Jericho. But I'm not sure if he won the title or not. I don't think he did. Or was it 2009? Somebody correct me in the comment section. Is it? I know he won Royal Rumble 2010. I'm pretty sure it was that. But did he win the title in 2010? I don't think so. Or was it 2011? Somebody correct me. It was the year he wrestled Chris Jericho. I'm pretty sure he lost that title match too. Because I think he, yeah, I'm pretty sure he lost that title match too. So, in any event, he basically was saying how, you know, yes, they have a lot of career parallels, but he actually succeeds and he's done everything Edge has done. He's done it bigger and better. And that, you know, he had a revelation. And that everybody should be thanking him for not ending Edge's career in 2014. Wouldn't be any big comebacks, wouldn't be any movie career, wouldn't be any of this if Edge had been stomped in 2014. And that next time, you know, at SummerSlam, he's not going to hold back. He will stomp him. He's going to end Edge's great comeback at SummerSlam. Now, last time I talked about this was probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I mentioned how, you know, these two characters are essentially the same. Edge and Seth Rollins. They're both what you call magicians, thinking characters. And I kind of saw it coming that Edge would have to do something in terms of messing with Seth Rollins' ego. Now, the crazy thing is about these storylines, man. I keep saying, like, sometimes these storylines are trash. Like, sometimes WWE's writing is absolutely horrible. But for some reason, the characters are remarkably consistent. like it is. Seth Rollins' ego is out of control. You know, now he's been compared, you know, when I said before, you know, the Cesaro thing, he was spazzing out because Cesaro had embarrassed him. with the swing. He was sent into a rage over being swung, and he took it personally. He takes being embarrassed very, very personally. And Edge embarrassed him last week by saying, "You're a mini-me, essentially. You're an Edge light." So now Rollins is again losing his mind and saying, "Yeah, there's some similarities between us, but I'm better than you anyway." And I look forward to this, but I was thinking as I was, taking notes or whatever, does it really hurt Seth Rollins to lose this match? And I think to myself sometimes, like, man, when you're a heel, you're in position, you get into these positions, and sometimes you say, okay, well, obviously it's not going to hurt him too much. He's a heel. But I say to myself, like, why can't he beat Edge? And I pretty much just accepted that Edge is going to win this match. But I was kind of like, why? Like, why does he need to win? He doesn't really need to win. Seth Rollins should win. Like, where do you go with Edge if he wins? But where do you go with Edge if he loses? So you have that question anyways. Like, it's like, I don't know. I think that sometimes, it never really crossed my mind that John Cena could beat Roman, or that Goldberg could beat Lashley. Those things don't really even cross my mind. But, in this situation, I'm like, Seth Rollins could really use that win. If we being honest. Sure, he doesn't absolutely positively need it. But it would be fucking cool, wouldn't it? For him to have, and it would be a great way to write Edge off TV until you need him again. Because that's going to be the big storyline. Like, if Edge beats Seth Rollins, where did he go from there? If Seth Rollins beats Edge, you can write Edge off TV and then have him make a big return later on. And I think that would be, and since Edge is, part-time, that would actually be a great deal for Edge to put Seth Rollins over, and then let Seth Rollins, his momentum, push him towards the main event. And then maybe you do Rollins and Balor, or Rollins and Cena, or something like that, until Edge can come back. I'm at the point now where I think Seth Rollins should win. And I pretty much just accepted that Rollins was going to lose, but I don't think I'm going to resist that now. I think I want Rollins to win, and I think he should win. So the next match was the Mysterios versus the Dirty Dogs, Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, who, I feel bad for Robert Roode, man. He's so good, and he just doesn't get any respect. The Mysterios, before the match, Ray was trying to talk some sense into Dominic. Dominic is getting very overconfident. He's like, oh yeah, we got the Usos number, There's no big deal. I lost last week. We got it. And Ray was like, no. No mistakes. What are you doing? We can't afford to get overconfident. And so in this match, what tied in was the Usos was trying to distract Dominic by very, very bad chanting. It was very corny. It was terrible. Oh, it was awful. But it didn't work. And the Mysterios ended up winning anyway. And of course, the Usos threatened to kick their asses at SummerSlam. In this situation, I think the Mysterios are probably going to win the titles back. That would be cool, I just know that there's got to be something else for the Mysterios to do. You can't keep them trapped forever in limbo with the Usos. So I think that in order for the Mysterios to go forward, they have to win the titles back, and then maybe you just find another team. Maybe you debut a team for them to feud with, or they feud with the Street Profits. Either way it goes, the Mysterios should probably get the titles back. But if the Mysterios lose, then I see the Street Profits versus the Usos taking the rest of the fall, which is fine. That's all good. So the next segment was bum-ass Baron Corbin, according to Pat McAfee, who kept calling him bum-ass. This was billed as Baron Corbin's final plea. He gets in the ring, and then he says that, he wants everybody in the audience to give $1,000 a piece, and he's got a credit card swiper to go around and collect $1,000 from everybody. And when they boo him and laugh at him, he says that you see people like me down on their luck, and you want to keep him down. Then he said that he needs this, or he might end up having to file for bankruptcy. And he is so good with this. He has been excellent. The TikTok video that they played where he was walking around backstage and he got a fine for being out out of dress code because he had stains on his shirt. And the security guys pretended not to know who he was, even though his face was on the side of the truck. Because he looked so awful. This has been a joy to watch. This Baron Corbin, I don't know whose idea it was, and I don't care. This is fantastic. Bum-ass Baron Corbin is absolutely fantastic. So he's interrupted. Well, he says at first we're not going anywhere. This show will not continue until everybody gives me $1,000. This leads Kevin Owens to come to the ring. So Kevin Owens says, like, I thought you were like me. I thought you were looking for redemption. I thought you were looking to, make up for all of your past mistakes. But I see like you're really just, feeding on people's sympathy. You're a predator. That, Baron Corbin is embarrassing himself, and he's embarrassing the WWE by harassing the WWE Universe, asking them for money. So then he says, let's do this. If you fight me, and you win, I will give you $1,000. But if you lose, you have to stop begging the WWE Universe for money. So Baron Corbin, reluctantly agreed to this. And then told Kevin Owens that he was being cheap. The match was made. Baron Corbin versus Kevin Owens in the $1,000 match. And I still think it's kind of low. I think they should have went with the $100,000 and they should have saved it for next week. But in any event, Baron Corbin wins this match. He gets $1,000, and he really fought this match like he wanted that money. I mean, the choke slam, the deep six, it was great stuff. This match was really, really fun. It's probably the most fun Baron Corbin match I've seen in a long time, and the fans were actually into it. Goes to show that if you have a great character and great personality, that the general audience will accept it, because people hate Baron Corbin. But people are entertained by his panhandling and his weakness. In any event, he loses via roll-up. So Baron Corbin can no longer ask for money. And then he gets a post-match stunner for his troubles. And it's all downhill for Bad News Corbin. It sucks. He can't panhandle anymore. How is he going to take care of himself? So he goes to the back and he's asked, I believe, by Kayla Braxton, how he's going to take care of himself. And he decides to steal Big E's Money in the Bank briefcase. So he swiped it. I mean, straight up snatchies and took off running. So now the second act of this story begins. That now Baron Corbin is more desperate than ever. He's no longer asking. Now he's just stealing stuff. So of course, there's going to be a question of he's going to fight Big E over the Money in the Bank briefcase. I'm cool with that. Big E has been off TV for a little while. He won Money in the Bank, but they haven't done much of anything with him since. I would love it if he tried to pawn it off. Like if he was, trying to pawn the Money in the Bank, even though it's not his. Like that would be great. Like that would be entertaining stuff if he was like walking around Raw, even though he not even supposed to be on Raw. If he was walking around Raw trying to sell the Money in the Bank, trying to sell the contract, like that would be great. Of course, he'd probably only get like a week out of that, because once, all the officials tell him he can't do it, it'd be over. But it should be fun to see him desperate, down on his luck, and he really, really wants this and he needs this. And this is the lengths that he has to go to. And he's, of course, going to just give, Big E some wins, keep him in the public eye. So I'm 100% cool with that. Corbin is being great. If he's just going to turn into a kleptomaniac, where he's just going to start stealing things from people. He's going to steal the Money in the Bank. But next, he's going to steal the Intercontinental Championship. He's going to steal the tag team titles or something like that. That ought to be great. I think I've been kind of bouncing around in my head, how do you end this storyline? And I think part of it is you need to have some type of an investor into Baron Corbin. You need like a benefactor. Like Baron Corbin is like down on his luck, but he's a big guy. That leads for him to be a myriad of different things for a lot of different people. And that he could end up being a bodyguard. Now, let's say that he ends up being hired by a specifically smaller wrestler, baby, and as his backup. That might not be too bad. Or, the backup for a female wrestler or something like that. That might actually be sweet, And I saw like a huge opportunity there going into the main event, I guess you could say, the main segment. with Sasha Banks. So let's talk about this Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair thing before we get there. I really think that if you could have had Sasha Banks maybe hire Baron Corbin to be her bodyguard, to keep people away from her. And, you know, he could dress silly. She could like dress in them and stuff like that. It could have been silly and fun, and, you know, but it puts money in his pocket. You know, make him dress like Mr. Hughes or something like that. Like, that could have been fun or funny. But what they did with Sasha Banks, though, was actually even more fun, because I actually predicted half of it. And that's good. That's good. I like being right. So Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks were in the ring. Bianca Belair, you know, says that all she had to do was ask for a rematch if that's what she wanted. And that, you know, hey, you going to stab me in the back again? Yada, yada, yada. Sasha Banks said that, you know, the scar she got from being whipped kept her out of action for months. So she really going to say that little scar is what had her out for 4 months. So that's great. She called it Bianca Belair a bitch, which got a real reaction out of Bianca. You know, seemingly they kind of started to fight a little bit. Then Sonya Deville was like, nope, no more of this. Y'all chill out. Y'all chill out. So then Sasha Banks called in witnesses. There need to be witnesses to the contract signing. And Pat McAfee very smartly said, you know, this is an arena full of people. You know, we're on national TV. It's an arena full of people. What are we going to do here? So then Zelina Vega and Carmella came out to the ring. And it was a very weird thing where I think their music was blended. Where I couldn't tell whose theme song it was. And I was kind of like, that doesn't make sense. And then Zelina Vega's music started. So I think they blended their things. I think they're a tag team now. Fine. So of course, after Sasha and Bianca sign it, Bianca gets attacked by Zelina Vega and Carmella. She's able to fight them off, and then Sasha Banks attacks her from behind. Sasha Banks ends up, you know, putting her in the bank statement on the top of the table, putting her hair in her mouth and pulling her neck back and cackling. The Wicked Witch of the West out of Wizard of Oz. It is absolutely awful. But I like this teaming up that they got, Zelina Vega, Sasha Banks, and Carmella. I like it. This is great, you know. And now it opens up opportunities for other women. Because now you got 3 women against Bianca Belair. She's not going to be able to fight them all off. So now you have a storyline where either Shotzi and Tegan are going to get involved, or Liv Morgan and Toni Storm are going to get involved. And, you know, that ought to be fun. You know, that ought to be fun. And I can support the hell out of that. That sounds like a great deal for me. I'm kind of over contract signings. I wish it, you know, and big brawls at the end. I could have used a proper TV main event. But this was fine. They wanted to unveil this new faction. This was fine for me. It's very ironic that they unveiled a new faction the exact same night that Britt Baker kind of unveiled a new member of her squad. So now it's, you know, they kind of mirrored each other in that way. So SmackDown was pretty solid. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There was obviously some booking decisions as usual with WWE that I wasn't a fan of, but ultimately it was a great show overall. The last thing I want to discuss is that SmackDown was actually preempted by the NFL preseason games. So here in Detroit, the Lions was playing. The Lions and the Buffalo Bills. I don't see why the fuck, like, who the fuck cares about preseason football? Like, nobody gives a damn. And yet, this managed to bump SmackDown. I don't know how many times this is going to happen, but it's definitely going to, you know, hurt SmackDown's TV ratings, you know, for the foreseeable future, you know, until all this crap stops. So I know it was at least in Detroit. I don't know what other markets it may have happened in, but it certainly happened in Detroit. So did SmackDown preempted in your area or not? Let me know in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel. Thank you guys for your time, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Tell me what's worse than learning all that you led to believe was all horse crap. They distort, so question